Hey everybody, welcome back to Battle Red Inc. So I'm taking this week off and going out of town, but I wanted to go ahead and record something for you guys so I didn't just completely leave you empty-handed for a whole week. And so I thought, instead of going for more EX1 decks, since we're still a ways off from that, I would just go back and take a look at some of the other decks I put out already for this set that I've already kind of made a few changes since initially posting what I did, as well as seeing what some other people were doing and getting more and more ideas for you guys, and just kind of wanted to show you how my two meta decks that I've been playing, as well as tons of other people are playing, how it's evolved a little bit. So keeping them kind of short. If you want to see the full deck profiles of the previous ones where I really explain every single card, go check my old Jesmon OTK for this one. I'll also have a link in the description below for that. But I want to go ahead and show you what I'm working with now. Also, don't forget our memory marker for this month is the Egg of Miracles. This is our golden armor Digi Egg. This thing is super, super sweet. Hand sculpted by my wife, and then we did a cast of it at a resin. So all of the ones that people will be receiving are resin copies. Super, super cool. Absolutely love this thing. This is our Patreon reward for November. So at the time of this release, I think you got like a day or two left. So definitely get on it while you can. Now, if you want any of our other memory markers we've had on the channel, check the coffee link in the description below. There you can see all the previous memory markers we've had on the channel before. Go ahead and order you up one for whatever deck you're working on now. The only benefit of going through Patreon for the current memory marker of the month is that you get it for a discounted cost. So some of them on coffee tend to be a little bit more once you include shipping. So if you go through Patreon, you can actually get a little bit better of a deal. So right here, I've got a zoomed out version of the previous incarnation of this deck. This was after my initial testing, kind of where I fell on what I was really liking about the strategy for Jesmon. I really like the leanness of only running the 4 megas. That, you know, it worked really great. We've seen a lot of other people have a lot of success with really trimming the megas down, because really the deck pops off when you have Jesmon on field. Secondary megas don't really do a whole lot for it. A lot of like the Guilmon warp digivolving into the new Gallantmon. I didn't like that strategy. It never really worked for me all the times I tested it. And it seems like a lot of the top decks, or decks that have been topping, I should say, also kind of came to that same conclusion that the Gallantmon is not the way to go with this. So I did, after some playtesting though, saw a few things even more so that I kind of wanted to step back and then take a reassessment of where I was at on it. The first one here is this Guilmon. This is the Dash Pack promo Guilmon that, when attacking, trigger draw 1. So the thought process was, if I can't go into Agumon as my Digivolve on top of the Babymon, I go into a Guilmon instead, promote, and then swing on like a following turn. So you get the Digivolve draw, and then you get to swing with it and get another draw. But the issue kind of came back to, you know, like a Ricky Rush sort of scenario, it's probably going to die. It's only 2,000 attack. If they put up one blocker, then you're in the situation of, do I swing just to get the draw and then guarantee its death, or what? And then Huckmon was, you know, our on-play Digimon. So I was kind of in this limbo of what to run in this in the Guilmon's place. Alright, and then where it kind of fell into was between these two. So we have the new starter deck Guilmon, which, don't worry about the warp digivolve, okay? This is completely irrelevant. We're not going to run the Gallantmon that goes with this. Instead, we're looking at this Inheritable. And a lot of people were running this, as well as a lot of people were running the secondary one. Since we're in the U.S. where I'm at, I don't have the starter decks yet. I'm just waiting for them to come out. There's no point in me pre-order or ordering them from overseas if I can't play them yet, so I don't want to pay those prices. I'll just wait until they release officially. But this Inheritable, your turn, once per turn, that's important, once per turn, when an opponent's Digimon is deleted, trigger, draw 1. So anytime they're deleted, no matter what the reason is, you get a draw 1. on your turn. So that's pretty cool. It is once per turn. The other one, the alternative, this is the one I've been playing of. I've been playing this card at a 4 of in place of the Dash Pack Gilmon. And this is the 0.0 promo Biomon from way back in the beginning of this game's release. Your turn, when this Digimon deletes one of your opponent's Digimon in battle and it survives, trigger draw 1. Now, typically, when you're just deleting things in this deck, it's typically Jesmon. Jesmon's swinging. He's got piercing. He's swinging over something with piercing. You're going to play something like a Judgment Blade that is going to let it attack unsuspended Digimon. That's what this one does right here. So even if they don't have it suspended, you can still attack into it with piercing and destroy it. That is great for this because you're going to delete it by battle with the Jesmon because of piercing, because you're still going to get your security checks, and that's super important. And then you get a draw off of that. But what's really, really amazing about this is it's not once per turn like Gilmon is. So when you combine that with something like a Savior Huckmon that's going to allow you to unsuspend with your Jesmon and swing again, you're going to delete something else. So that's 2 draws. Now, say you go into Blitz Omnimon on top of that. Go even further beyond Plus Ultra here. And you keep that piercing. You keep your piercing buffs and everything like that. You swing again and you pierce through something again. You're going to get more draws off of the Biomon. That's 3 draws off of 1 Biomon. So, whereas this one's a little bit more generic. So if you delete something, say with the Bao Huckmon ability here, you're still going to trigger it. Say you don't have Blade of Judgment and they don't have anything for you to attack with, you can still use the Bao Huckmon to delete something and get the trigger off the Guilmon, whereas Biomon is specifically for battle. Now I will say though that most of the time there's something that you can hit. So it kind of came down to which one do you prefer more? I'd rather not go with the Dash Pack Gilmon there, simply because you have to swing with it and it gets deleted, and it's gone, and then you're starting back over with this Evo process just for a single draw. You want the draw power, you need the consistency. With only playing the 4 megas here, you can kind of brick at times, so getting more ways to go about it is really good. Also, you Digivolve on top of these guys with like a level 4 or even a level 5, and you can swing over something that's like a rookie, a suspended rookie, or even a suspended level 4. You can swing over it with these 7,000 DP attacks and trigger either one of these guys off of that. So whichever one you prefer more, you can still trigger them multiple ways. So yeah, these are kind of a good switch to. I've seen people do an even split. I think a good even split early on, if you have the starter decks available. If you don't have the starter decks, I definitely recommend going heavy on the Biomon. That's what I've been doing, and it's worked out great so far. Absolutely loving that change. All right, next is our blockers. Originally in the original deck profile, I'm not really sure why I had the Monochromons. I think I was just trying to, with the OTK strategy, I was trying to get up into Jesmon as quickly as possible. Nothing else mattered. But, looking at what other cards or what other decks are in the format, I kind of steered away from that and went for the Cordramon, just because, it's a little bit beefier. It stands up a little bit better, specifically against like Jesmon. Jesmon can't delete it using Bao Huckmon's ability here, so I just like that 6,000 DP a little bit more. So all my other deck profiles since this one, we switched over to the 2 Evo cost, especially with something like Huckmon. You're going to slam down on play Huckmon, dig for what you need to, and then if you're you got a memory fixer on field, you're at 0 memory, you still need a pass turn. A good play that I like to do is then immediately Digivolve Cordramon on top of my Huckmon, because if it's going to be sitting out there, I'd rather it do something while it's sitting out there. I don't want to go Huckmon, Digivolve into like Greymon to pass my turn. Now I have a Greymon sitting out in the open. It's not doing any good. It's an easy target. It's a really good Inheritable that I would like to save and have in like my raising area. So I don't want to go into like Greymon or even Bao Huckmon. So the Cordramon was definitely like the better way to pass my turn. So went for the 2 of on that one. Now, the rest of our lineup up here has been solid. The Bebidemon, I think, is the better one. Some people have gone for Yokomon. Yokomon only gives that 1,000 when attacking into a Digimon on field, whereas I like the, to have that plus 2,000 no matter what. If there's nothing for me to swing into on their side of the field, I still want to get my big DP buff on my Jesmon, and then Yokomon only being viable when I'm attacking, my opponent's stuff, which for the most part, again, I'm not going to be doing that with any of this stuff. I typically leave my babies in the raising area until I know I'm going to go into a Jesmon and swing with the Jesmon that turn. So if I have a level 5 that I'm promoting up, evoing into Jesmon, then swing with the Jesmon, that's what we're doing. So I'm not attacking till I go into Jesmon. And so that's the Babydamon is basically always going to be live as long as Jesmon's here, because Jesmon will always be playing a Sistermon, like absolutely 100%. You're either playing them from the trash or playing them from the hand, and I think a lot of people kind of forget that you can play them from the trash as well. So you don't need this massive amount of, well, you got to draw it, you got to have it in hand. Well, I mean, I had to draw into it at least one point in the game, and then I can just keep cycling them over and over and over. So yeah, Babydamon giving that plus 2,000 because Jesmon's always going to be having the piercing effect go off. So yeah, Babydamon was definitely still sticking with that one. And then everything else in here is just pretty much on the nose. Agumon for yet another DP buff, and even more so, we're going to get into it in a little bit, but Agumon becomes even a little bit more important for that DP buff. Because of our ratios down here. And I'll go ahead and cover that right quick. I love Blanc. I love Blanc so much more than CL. By the time I'm attacking with Jesmon, playing the CL kind of loses its value. I gain 1 memory, right? But what do I need to gain that 1 memory for? Say I evo into Jesmon with a memory fixer. I'm at 0 memory. Okay, I swing. I play a CL. I gain 1 memory back. What is that 1 memory going to get me? Oh, I could play a Delicate Plan or a Judgment Blade, right? But I've already attacked. So are these cards going to do me any good once I've already attacked? Yeah, I've got that extra memory back, but it's only good if you're getting a second swing with, like, Save Your Hookmon, allowing you to unsuspend. Then you're going to get some more value out of them, but that's not always the case, and a lot of times, that takes a whole lot of setup to need all these perfect card combinations in your hand. And again, it only applies from the second attack on, so I felt like Blanc was just so much better. And even if I just need to play something, there was times where I just kind of like was sitting on kind of a little bit of a bricky hand, and I just needed something to pass turn, something easy, and a Blanc would have been perfect. Just the on-play draw 1 would have been great. And possibly have a blocker. Plenty of times, you go Hookmon, hit into, maybe even whiff on a Hookmon, but hit into something that's not what you need. So you need something else to pass turn. Slamming down a Blanc, draw 1 to help you, cycle through your deck faster, as well as Blanc becomes a blocker because you got the Hookmon on field. It felt way better. So switching these ratios up a little bit. I think 100% of the time I'd rather play Blanc for the draw as well as just for the blocker. CL giving that plus 2,000 is kind of good, but my thing is Jesmon already gives himself a plus 3,000. That's 14,000. Combine that just with the Babydamon, which he will probably have. I mean, it's pretty much almost always a guaranteed. That puts you at 16,000 already, hitting into pretty much over anything that you need. CL, that DP buff is completely irrelevant, okay? And especially, like I was saying earlier, if you have the Agumon under there, again, Agumon not needed, but it is a little bit of extra added insurance just in case. For a little bit of extra oomph. But I think these guys, for that draw power, is actually kind of better. So these are probably my more preferred inheritables out of between them. But Agumon's still good nonetheless, especially with us dropping CL down to 2 and Blanc up. Now, jumping back over here to our level 5s here. Again, I've already harped on Save Your Hookmon a whole bunch here. Just allowing you to basically attack twice is great. His when Digivolving is also pretty good. There was a few times where it's come up, but more often than not, I'm just Digivolving this in the raising area and then waiting for the following turn to go into Jesmon. So I don't really get its when Digivolving effect too often, but I have on occasion, and it has come up a little bit. But our secondary level 5, I've actually kind of changed up things a little bit here. For me personally, I've dropped Voltdramon down to 1. And I've added into the deck the Rise Greymon from BT4. This is the one where you Digiburst 2 and you can play a Tamer for free. It's felt really good to be able to do this so many times. Just pop this bad boy out, play this, put that tie to field, and then you can Digivolve into something. That's cool. not always even needed, honestly. Sometimes I just like going into this guy and then having this Inheritable. If I've already got my Tamer on field, he's still so good. When attacking, if you have a Tamer in play, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 2,000 DP for the turn. Why is that relevant in Jesmon? Bao Huckmon here only deletes 5,000 DP or less. All my deck profiles, I've harped so much on 6,000 DP blockers. You hit them with a minus 2,000, putting them at 4,000, that puts them in Bao Huckmon popping range, and you can completely dodge these. I've done it so much in this deck. I think it's completely an underrated strategy. Like, by and large, super underrated. Just being able to go Rise Greymon, reduce, then Bao Huckmon pop. It's so wonderful. It really is. Again, and it's also not once per turn, so you can stack it with multiple swings. So you can completely delete 4,000 DP Digimon if you want to do that as an alternative. Rise Greymon's so good. He's so good. He felt way more impactful in my games than Voltdramon did. Now, I do still have the Voltdramon, but honestly, that's simply because I don't have access to Red Memory Boost. I've got the extra space in the deck, but I will say that once Red Memory Boost comes out and the starter deck is available, that I will be dropping Voltdramon entirely, and we'll go back down to 6 level 5s. 6 level 5 still feels solid. All times I played 6 level 5s in this deck, it was fine. I didn't have any issues. Jesmon as a 4 of, 6 is enough. I think it's a good balance between everything. So, and then, of course, Jesmon's just Jesmon. 2 Omnimons. I noticed some people, they either go the 2 Omnimon route or they go the 2 Agunimon route. I have seen some people go 1 and 1. As long as you get into 1, that's kind of like your general strategy. It's typically you're going to clear your opponent's 5 security and then do something to basically close the game out afterwards. And one of each, I could see the argument for that. My thing is with Agunimon, you need the memory to go into Agunimon. Omnimon, you can be at 0 memory, still go into Omnimon and win the game. So I think Omnimon's a little bit better, but at the same time, I've won just as many games off of Agunimon as I have Omnimon. So I still like my 2-and-2 ratio on that. If your deck, feels really, really tight, you can maybe cut one of these guys down to 1. But I really don't like doing the 1-and-1 personally. All right, moving on from there, 3 ties, still feeling good. If you get multiples on field, that's just multiple security attack, so it's still great. Delicate Plan at 2 is completely fine. I've got Judgment Blade at a 1 of here, but again, in my profile or in my build, I don't have access to Red Memory Boost yet. So I've got 2 more cards to work with, so I bumped up Judgment Blade to a 2 of as well. Again, assuming I still have the Voltdramon over here until time comes where I'll drop the Voltdramon, and then I've dropped the Judgment Blade, but man, Judgment Blade feels so good. I've controlled so many games. You get to attack, 2, possibly 3 times if you're rolling with Omnimon here, and just getting to have this effect. So Huckmon or Royal Knight in its type. So you can use this on your Omnimon. It still applies there. So 3 attacks, all with piercing, is just phenomenal, especially when you're attacking unsuspended Digimon. You clear your whole opponent's field. Every attack gets a pierce. Man, this card is so good. A Delicate Plan is still really awesome. It's tight. It's so incredibly tight. So dropping this down, Judgment Blade up, I think this is a better alternative. I mean, Red Memory Boost is so good. It boosts the consistency of this deck, which is needed. If you play this deck, there's probably been times where you've bricked. I mean, absolutely. I'm sure there is. But the deck is so tight that it kind of is an issue at times of being able to draw into things can be a bit of an issue. But both of these cards have felt so impactful. There's never been a time when I've played them that I didn't regret it. There's been times where I didn't play them and I did regret it, though. Literally just last night playing at locals, I could have played a Delicate Plan, but I decided I don't think I need to worry about it against this. And it completely, hurt me because of I didn't play it because I was going to attack with, I think it was like I had a level 7 on field and a rookie, and they had one security left. And I could have played a Delicate Plant on my level 7 and swung into security. Even if it died to a Digimon, it would be okay. The issue was that I hit into a Trump Sword, and the Trump Sword killed my rookie. I'm like, well, that's a shame. You know, I could have played the Delicate Plant. So it's really taught me the value, again, of why a Delicate Plant is so important. And I'm really liking these at a 2 of. It does hurt that Red Memory Boost had to suffer because of it. But again, I think there's argument for perhaps cutting down an Agunimon and bumping this up to a 2. You know, if you know, you're hurting yourself on your consistency a little bit of having your closers. As long as you have at least the one, though, that feels at least like the potential is there. Again, you just need to draw into one copy of it and then save it until you need it. And then you can always use the Red Memory Boost potentially to grab the Agunimon. So, you know, that is something that you could look at. Or you could drop the Cordramon. You know, if you don't want to play the blockers at all, you could drop the Cordramon entirely and just go super heavy on Red Memory Boost. You know, keep your Agunimons and then drop the Cordramons entirely and then bump Red Memory Boost up to 3. That's all very subjective, I think. But as it is now, I'm really liking this new alternative. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you would, please like the video and subscribe. Just a little bit of help goes a super long ways. It helps the channel out tremendously, gets my videos out there, gets them seen. And if you really want to support the channel, check out the links in the description below. I'll have a link for my Patreon, which is displayed right here. You can get access to my Discord server that I have, as well as you can get the memory markers that we've had. These are just a few of my favorites from the past that we've had. The current one, Impmon's baby, as well as Gabumon's baby as well, Sunomon and Yaomon. These guys are super adorable. I definitely love them so much. And every month a new one changes out, so make sure you check that out. As well as we have our new playmats. This is why I recreated this video. It's because our playmats are here finally, and they are super cool. I alternate between the black and white every single month for whoever wants to support this tier, as well as I have a tier just higher than that, so that way you don't also have to lose out on a memory marker. You can get both the memory marker and the playmat just in case you want both. Super awesome support from everyone that has supported in the past and who will support in the future. You guys are awesome. Also, if you want to check out my merch, my Teespring link is in the description below for that. We've got, you know, the shirts that I wear on the channel that has the logo across. I love when I see people representing my merch in public. It is like one of the coolest feelings I've ever had in my entire life. Very awesome. As well as phone cases for you people that love Digimon like so much like I do. A friend of mine custom made all these to fit these specific phone cases themselves, so the prices are a little bit higher just because I have to pay her back, as well as make a little tiny bit of profit because of how much unfortunately they take for their cut for Teespring. But like I said, if you can't do any of that, please just like the video and subscribe to the channel. Every time we hit a new mile marker for subscriptions, I give out free merch of all different types. 2000K, I think we're doing one of the playmat giveaways, so definitely be subscribed and ready for when that comes.